What's happening? How are you doing? Um, a beautiful, beautiful weekend that we have right here. I hope that Easter is taking you well. Um, I hope plan zako zote zinaingiana venye ulikuwa umepanga. If not, I mean worry not, ni life huwa hivyo. We keep it moving. Sawa, now if you're new here, karibu sana. My name is Uncle Mike the Baker. Now I want to welcome you to this segment. We started um, with our first video. This segment is called Man Cave. All right, so welcome to Man Cave, and this is specifically for men. It's tailor-made for men, where we have these conversations. Now, these are the kind of conversations we have, we used to have in the barber shop, or at the car wash, or at the bar when we were watching a game. Lakini, as you know, the world has changed, and we have our women. We are all over these particular places where men used to go sit down and have real conversations. And so the only place we are left to have conversations like this, ni hapa online. All right. So, I mean, let's have this conversation. Again, it's strictly for men. So if you're a lady, please, now will be a good time for you to go to the next video by other people and enjoy that one. Sawa. Let men have their space. Let men just be men. Let men just let's have our time. Because these are good times where we get to unload and refresh and talk and start conversations that you can continue on with your boys mahali penye munakutaniaga, whether ni kwa kanyama choma ama ni kwa kuwatch game, wherever you meet with your boys. This conversation is something that you can continue hapo. All right, so welcome to Man Cave. All right, so let's get to the video today. And today I'm talking about a very, very sensitive topic, a very, very key and important topic. What I wish I had known before getting into marriage, and what probably you should know before you get into marriage. And this video is specific for the young people who are preparing themselves to get into marriage. The young man, you're a young man. You finally found your love, the love of your life, and umeamua, this is the one, and you want to take it to the next step into marriage. I mean, it's a good step. It's something good. It shows maturity. Again, mimi siyuko hapa to tell you what to do with your lives. All right? I'm not here to influence your decision making. I'm simply here just to start a conversation that you can probably continue having by yourself and with your male friends, and decide for yourself what you want. Sawa sawa. Personally, I have been married, and marriage ikaisha, and it is something that I'm not planning to ever go back to. All right, it's a place that I'm never planning to go back to. Because I do not see a need for it right now in my life. Sawa. Not because I'm lacking anything, not because I am unable, but having been there and having experienced what marriage is, the upside, the downside, the good and the bad of marriage, I no longer see the need for it for myself. So I never plan to marry. I never plan to be in a long-term relationship. I never plan to cohabitate. That's just the way it is. That is me. So I'm not here to influence your decision making. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're a grown-ass man and you know what you want to do. Okay? If you're also new into marriage, this will be a very important video for you, so that as things unfold, as your as it unfolds for you, you will not be shocked by the things you're going to experience as you go along, because you now already know. And I mean, if you know something is going to happen, you prepare for it. You have everything ready for it, so it doesn't shock you. Sawa. And so this is just a way to just let you know, this is, if it hasn't started happening to you, it will start to happen. Again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And so just get yourself ready, brace yourself for um, what is going to come your way. Because I mean, all marriages go through this. All marriages, for marriage to work or to fail, whichever you go want, it has to go through this. And this is some a very key. Na hapa hivi hakuna kufichana, ni ukweli. Because as men, we talk the truth. Another thing is that this is a conversation I wish someone would have told me before I got married, so that I prepare myself for what was to come. But again, even the men who are there in my life were not able to communicate clearly onto what marriage really is. And so me niliingia into it blindly, not knowing. Even when I went for premarital counseling, which we did, um, they were not open. I can say they were not open and real as to what marriage really is. They gave us a lot of paperwork and nini. Hakuna mtu alikuwa real kusema hey buda, mi napitia hii kwa marriage yangu. Hakuna mtu alikuwa real kusema niaje, on my first year I went through this. So they were all ashamed, and they gave us a lot of books and papers and a lot of referred material, zile wamesoma kwa vitabu and all that. And so there was nothing real that I could pick from it that would help my marriage stand through the trying times. Because let me tell you the truth, there's gonna be hard times. Oh, there is going to be hard times in your marriage. Okay, so let's get to it. Number one, I need you to understand that marriage ni ngumu. The best advice I ever got when getting married was marriage is hard. Okay? And so getting into it, I knew. People told me, hey, listen, Mike, you're going into something good, but I want you to know that this thing is hard. And of course, being Izosiku, I was so in love. So whatever they said, I really didn't take it as anything big. I thought they were probably scaring me. But the reality of it is marriage is hard. And it is hard because you're getting another human being. This is somebody who's been brought up probably in a very different way than you. This is somebody who has, marriage is what do I call it? You literally live out what you see. Okay, how you live, how you stay in your marriage is a complete version of what you saw growing up. So ni copy paste ya ile. The way you used to see your mom treating your dad is how you're going in with that expectation that, you know what, my wife will treat me the same way I saw my mom treating my dad. My wife will listen to me the way mom used to listen to dad. And so you go in with this expectation that marriage itakuwa hivo. When you get in, unakuta it is not hivo. Because you know why? Because this person grew up in a complete different way from you. They probably have grown up in a two-parent home. And so venye mama yake alitreat baba yake ni totally different na venye mama yako alitreat baba yako. Or they probably grew up in a single parent home. So they have never seen submission, they've never seen hustle, they've never seen struggle, they've never seen hawajaona hiyo relationship between dad and mom, so that they can actually bring it into the marriage they're getting into. And vice versa, probably even for you, you grew up without both parents, so unaingia na ile knowledge, you have no idea how to relate. Haukuwahi ona mzazi wako, ama you never had, either you had a mom or a dad, you never saw them, you never saw that relationship. So you're going into something new, and so it becomes hard because of, number one, that fact. Now this is a complete different human being from you. Their way of thinking, their way of doing things, their personality is completely different. So when you go in with an expectation that things will be this way, unakuta things are not that way. And then it gets you into something we call a culture shock. Ni kama venye unaweza toka hapo ukienda US, umezoea kuona stato kwa movies, so you've been watching movies every single day nini nini, so you're expecting you're going to leave Kenya or whatever country you're in, utaenda US, and exactly what happens in the movies is what happens there, and you realize hapa sio hivyo, so unakuwa na culture shock because it's not what you're expecting. Okay, so the same way goes to marriage. So let's get into it now. Wacha sasa tuingie ndani tuchambue. One thing nobody tells you about marriage, and especially kama you have kept yourself and you've been preparing yourself, ukisema yani I'm keeping myself for marriage, and you go to you do your wedding or wherever you go and you make these vows. I do take you to be my legally lawful wedded partner, to love and to hold in sickness and in health, for better for worse, until death do us part. What nobody tells you is the reality of marriage is it's going to be sickness, it's going to be worse. You see, for better for worse. Always sisi tunaingiaga na ile mindset ya things are going to be this way, on the higher side for better, in health, in wealth. But when you go in, you realize it's not like that. What you actually experience is the other side of the spectrum. Na kama ulikuwa umeprepare for this other side, unakuta you hadn't prepared for this other side, it becomes something totally different. You don't even know how to handle it. And I'll break it down. You go into marriage, you've kept yourself, and you've umekuwa ukiamua yani, as soon as I get married I'm going to have sex. We're going to be nyanduanaing in that house. We'll be nyanduanaing everywhere. Itakuwa tu ni everywhere, kwa bed, kwa kiti, kwa carpet, kwa bafu, kwa kitchen. You know how you always have this expectation that boda huyu ni tutagulana. You get in and it's a complete different thing. Sex is the first thing that goes off the table. Umestuka? Yeah, I'm giving you the reality. If you're not married and if you're newly married, the first thing that will go off, the first bulb the first light yenye itazimwa is that you're not going to be having as much sex as you were hoping or expecting. Someone once said, when you get into marriage, first year of your marriage, take chukua coin box, naitwa nini, karimo ni ile home nini, that I don't even know what you call, piggy bank. Take that piggy bank, and for every time you have sex, throw a 20 bob coin inside. In the first year of your marriage, every time you have sex, enda urushe ka 20 bob. Cutting. Every time you have sex, go through another ka 20 bob. That is the first year. Now, when you get to the second year, go back to the same coin box, and for every time you have sex, remove 120 bob. See how long it's going to take you kutoa hizo 20 bob for the next 10 years. See how long it's going to take you. The first year ukuwa fiti, it's always the honeymoon stage, so you guys are excited nini, munaingia huko kwa hiyo nyumba inakuanga tu ni ass clapping, blah, blah, blah. Ukiingia every time, yani hata mtu hawezi watembelea because anajua huko ile moto inawaka hiyo nyumba muwezani, hata wageni wanajua. That's why the first time when you get married, even your friends, those two friends who used to hang around you, they disappear because wanajua hiyo mwaka ile gugulana inaendelea kwa nyumba. It is incredible my friend. So for every time you have sex in your first year, throw a 20 bob coin inside a piggy bank. Twinkling every time. Asubuhi, tingling, jioni, tingling, saa 7 mchana, tingling, kwa kitchen, tingling, kwa bafu, tingling. Then, as from the second year, every time you have sex, remove 120 bob coin. See how long it's going to take you to remove coins from that piggy bank. You will be amazed. Second thing is that this person you got into marriage with, as in she's so beautiful and akafiti. Of course the first year you go in hard bro. Huyu ndio ule mtu anakuwa raus mbaya, ukiwa kwa ofisi ukimfikiria unachiu hard on immediately. But then as time goes by, you begin to realize mnaanza kuzoeana, mnazoeana, inafika tu mahali sasa you see them in their worst. Well, let me put it that way. That is even a better term. You see this person who used to drive you crazy in their worst ever. They wake up next to you in bed and you're looking at this face that you used to see, and you're looking at her like anajikuna kuna everywhere, as in she has, yani hakuna ile hakuna ile mask. The masks are off and she's just letting herself loose. Boobs zinaanguka wherever. Everything that used to amuse you about this person begins to yote in a fade away. Pole. All of a sudden, she can fart anywhere she likes. I mean, hata wewe uko tu hivyo. You as in umekaa tu pamoja hivi, you release one, and it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because now you've become familiar with each other. Umezoeana, mmefika mahali sasa tu ni mtu mwingine kama ule. It's like living by yourself. So ukijisikia kushuta, unashuta the way you want. You're watching a movie, you let loose. Anajikuna kuna places zingine haogi. Same thing as you. When you're home for the weekend, no one goes to shower. Hakuna mtu anaoga. Hakuna kutilia maanani ile ulikuwa unatilianga before. You're home for the weekend, you're not brushing your teeth. So common. And so as time goes by, you begin to desire you begin to lose that desire because you get the picture. You're seeing them at their worst. Kama ni kuchiu, they no longer care. They are carefree. They chew food. In the same way as you. If you love to chew food talking, you do the same. And it's normal. It's normal. Mnazoeana. And no one will tell you this. Mnazoeana inakuwa tu mahali unamwangalia hivi. She has no makeup anymore. The same makeup alikuwa anavaa kuja kuona. Venye alikuwa anajitilia maanani akikuja kukucheki while you are dating. She's no longer doing that. She's no longer doing that. Those two nice two dresses that used to show her thighs. Alizitupa kitambo, siku hizi ni ma sweatpants too. Sweatpants too all over. Wow. And you see them at their worst. You see them at their worst. And you have to live with this person. So what happens? Even your sex drive inashuka. Inaanza tu na wewe kama mwanaume. It goes down. And what you need at that point is a spunk bank. Yep, I said it. So you go home and what you need is a spunk bank. What do I mean? Unafika home and of course sex becomes a duty. It's no longer fun as it used to be siku za kwanza mkifika nini. It becomes, you have to do it. If you don't do it, who else will do it? She's horny, you're not. And you have to fuck. Or you're horny, she's not. Mtafanya nini? You still have to keep that fire burning because the one thing that brings you together more in marriage is sex. The moment that dies off, you can kiss your marriage goodbye. So what you need is a spunk bank. So this chick wakes up, you get home and she's horny. And you're there. Unamwangalia tu hivyo kwa zile za hiyo rasa ndivyo hiyo nyamba. It's no longer, you get the point. It's no longer amusing. It's no longer ekufurahishi, but now you have to nyandua her because she's your wife. So what do? You go in, but you have to have a spunk bank. What do I mean? Ulipitia tao hivi uko na ama ukiwa kwa ofisi, there's your secretary, new secretary. You put her in your head as you're having sex. So you're thinking, nani nafikiria nani, so that you can get that nut. So you have sex with your wife, but in your head, you're thinking about that secretary. You're probably thinking about most married men, to shock you, this is something that you do not know getting into marriage, is that most married men consume a lot of porn. Porn. Porn is not for single people, it's for married men. So married people consume a lot of pornography. So that they load up their spunk bank when they're having sex with their wife, they are thinking about that chick in that scene, kwa bank bros, or which others do I remember? You know, you get the point. You in your mind you're thinking about someone else, and they're arousing you so that you can keep the hard on, so that you can continue having sex with your wife because she's no longer desirable. Ashajiachilia, we pia ushajiachilia, but we huwezi ona. Unajua, in marriage you always see mistake ya ule mtu mwingine, so uko hapo we ujioni, yeye pia anaona we you're so undesirable, so she also has a spank bank in her head. O pia nao ako nayo. You both of you're living like that, you have spank banks. And so when you're having sex with her, she's thinking about someone else. When you're having sex with her, you are thinking about someone else, so that you can eventually get to that point of sad, right? But that is marriage. And no one tells you this when you're going in. No one. No one tells you that you're not going to have sex. No one tells you that you're going to need a spank bank. No one tells you all these things. And so the best place for you to come is right here kwa man cave, and we get to talk about it venye tu iko. The next thing that happens in marriage is that there's a lot of disrespect. Utafika home umechoka as a man, umetoka kuhunt, and you get home you're tired, and you just think, hey babe, niaje manzi, nipatilie maji ya kunywa, I'm really thirsty. And she's going to tell you, hey, hata wewe uko na miguu, hata wewe uko na mikono, enda kwa kitchen ujichotee maji. Disrespect comes in right there, bro. And now you have to live with this human being because hauwezi toka. You're a man, you have to be the one to stand in there, hang in there for the sake of your marriage, na hauwezi enda mahali. So you go to the kitchen, you get your own water. Utaki kusumbuana na huyu mtu. Inafika mahali there is so much disrespect. I've told you in previous videos, whenever I go out to do my morning run at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, 99% of everyone I meet out there are men going to work at 5:30 a.m. in the Morgans. They are not really going to work. They are getting away from the disrespect. They are literally just, udem akiamka hapa hivi, ile kunisumbua tanisumbua, let me just go. I'd rather just go hang out uko kwa stage nisome gazeti. I'd rather just go nilale kwa nyasi tao, alafu nirudi home, ama niende kazi sasa time ya kazi ikifika. I'd rather go have tea, breakfast kwa kibandaski than be home to have breakfast that is made by your wife because of the disrespect. The place becomes so unbearable for you to stay in. And so what do you do as a man? Because you want to do what's right. You want to keep your marriage. You're a man. You probably even have kids by now. Miaka imesonga. You probably have 1 or 2 children. Your marriage is starting. You're starting to grow. And you have to stick it in, bro. You have to stick it in. You have to stay there. You have to stay there. You have to fight for your marriage. You have to stay there because of your toys. You don't want your toys to grow like thorns. You want them to grow up with a father and a mother, the same way you grew up with your mom and your dad. But no one told you that as you're going in, this is what you have to endure every day. This is what you have to endure. Disrespect. It is so common. It happens every time. And that's why you see men, you as a man, you leave home very early. Mapema na giza. You come back home very late because it is too much. As we see, a man's currency is respect. Where you get your respect, bro, unaingia hapo. You can go in there. If you have a woman who respects you, you can go home at 5 p.m. in the evening. Ukae uko nae. Because there is respect. As a man, our currency is respect. So if someone respects you, you'll definitely be attracted to them. The first thing that got you attracted to your wife is the fact that she respected you. You probably met somewhere, akaamka kwa niaje boss kalia kiti. You probably met in your office and something fell off and she picked it for you. Hey, sorry, sir, here you go. And you saw this woman was so attractive because she was full of the respect for you as a man. Now, mmekaa pamoja, hiyo haiko anymore. There's disrespect. Kuna kurushiana maneno, anakuita majina. You get home tired from work and instead of yeye kukureceive anakuanzia, ah, umekuja na biriganya whatever it is ulitumiwa sms mchana ukuja nayo na umesha sahau, because I mean it's not for you, see, you get the point. So the first thing anakurushia ni naye, kwani unakuanga nini aje, and you get home and the place has become so cold and unbearable, but you have to stick it in there. So you get in with a smile and least how, but nakuja nayo kesho. Another thing that happens is that you both of you let loose. Remember when I talked about hamuogi nini vitu kaa hizo, you fart a lot, bad breath, you're not taking showers. It's both of you, but of course as a man you see the, unaonanga as a human being you see huo mwingine ndiye ako na makosa, wewe ndio huo uogi, wewe ndio but it's both of you, it's mutual. You both smell. And so that kills the desire for this person. For in the same way, even for her, it kills the desire for you. All right. Another thing that happens a lot, and no one will tell you this getting into marriage, is that you become desirable outside of your marriage. You become desirable in your office. All of a sudden, dem hakuanga anakuongelesha. Once you get married, all of a sudden you're beginning to look nice and they are like, ooh, wee. And now they are talking to you, they're referring clients to you, they are connecting you, giving you good deals, nini nini. All of a sudden they are there. All of a sudden, you become so desirable. You become so desirable, and this is where most people lose it. Because all of a sudden, msee mwenye hata hakuwa anakunotice, ashaanza kukunotice. All of a sudden, ule demu ulikuwa unatamani, the it girl, the one. All of a sudden, ashaanza kukuongelesha. And you're there just wondering, ooh, wewe ungekuwa ulikuwa wapi? And all of a sudden, if you this is where most people drop the ball. Most people, most marriages end here at this point. Because all of a sudden, even for your wife, you've been having sex with her, you're releasing, you see, there's something that you release as a man. I've said this before. Every time you have sex with a woman, every time you have sex with your wife, the moment unamaliza hivi, you're drained. There's an energy, there's a power there's something that leaves you, it goes into her. If you've never seen this, I want you to begin to look at it now. Every time you have sex with your wife, the moment you ejaculate, you release something from you that goes into her. Sio tu mtoi, something goes into her. You utabit. Most probably if you have sex at night, once you're done and you get that nut, a good nut, good one, what happens? Most times, 99% of the time, you're going to fall asleep. Utadoze, pap, black out, and you're going to sleep. Guess what? On the other side, she becomes energetic. Sa hiyo ndio anaanza kukupatia stories zingine unakuwa zile za you have no time to hear, because wewe ushatoa. That power, that energy goes into her, and now she becomes so full of life. And it happens because even her own skin begins to glow. She begins to look so beautiful, and she begins to become so desirable to other people who initially were not really recognizing her. Now all of a sudden she becomes so beautiful that there is other men, not even one, several men are coming after her, because she starts to look so nice, because there is a release from you into her that makes her to become, it beautifies her. So hata akitembea kwa street, mtu mwenye hata hakuwa anamchokoza, all of a sudden, madam mambo, oh my god, you're looking fine as sheesh. All of a sudden she becomes that. And even for you, you also begin to look nice. There's something that there's a transfer. This is beyond what anyone can comprehend. There's a transfer. Now what happens is that I, I've said this in previous videos. For a woman, they get to their prime, wanakuanga kwa primers from 15 16. Sasa wakifika 18 they're in their prime sasa kabisa, prime. So 18 all the way to 33, their prime. Boom, boom, and then it goes down. It goes down. By the time you've got 33, that window is closing, and they no longer wanatoka kwa prime. Sasa wanakuwa, they just go in, wanazama. So what happens when you meet someone and you marry them? You probably met them wakiwa in their prime years, that is between 18 and probably 25 26 hapo, prime years zile zenyewe, and you marry them. What happens is that as you stay together, she never loses that. She still continues to be in her prime, because now she is in a place of purpose. Your place ya purpose ni kukua na wewe. So the more you relating, and the more, and by the way, if you're married, the one thing you should never stop, even ni hata kukue kuna fanya nini, is having sex. Nyanduaneni, because that keeps her valuable. It raises her value yake haiendi chini. For single women, they start here, by the time they are 33 they are huko wamechapa mbaya, because they are not in their purpose. But for your wife, she remains in her prime as long as she is with you, as long as ako pale, because she is in her purpose. And same for you. Now for men it's different. For men, we enter our primers from 35 and we go all the way at the 60 70, you're still in your prime. Now for men, it's a complete different story, but women need men. Okay, women need men. That's why for a woman to retain her value, she needs to be in her purpose. Squeezy, it's different. Squeezy women, while they're in their prime, they begin to think, it gets into their head, because they become entitled. That is my next point. They become so entitled, and they realize, I can do this by myself, failing to understand that akitoka kwa papasi yake, she declines in a way that you do not even want to see. Look at a woman who's been divorced. Look at a woman who was married, fucked around, was thrown away by her husband. Look at what happens. A woman who walked away from her marriage bila makosa yote. She walked out as akiwa kwa prime. As years go by, anaenda akichapa. Kuna pali inafikanga, you look at her and you're like, nilikuwa nimeoa ile kitu. So for women, they need you as a man to maintain their value. Akitoka, she declines vibaya. But the moment she's with you, she keeps her value. That's why your mom is still desirable today, because she's with your dad. She's in her purpose. Ule mwenye alitoka akaenda peke yake, you watch them. You do that experiment by yourself. See how beat wanakuanga wamebeat. Because aliamua, I got this. I got this from here. Right away. So, you as a man are key to this woman. Okay? And so she becomes desirable outside. Even you become desirable outside. All of a sudden, kona mademo na kuongelesha. All of a sudden, and they always look beautiful. They always look so better than your wife. So stupid for you to fall for them, because hizo vinyangarika zitakuangusha. And that is where now men go wrong. Hapo. When other women begin to show interest, and there are women who are pretty and beautiful and well kept and all that shit, unaanguka hapo, bro, umekachapa, life yako imeisha. And that's where now as men we lose it. Hapo sasa ndio si uchapia, because ukishaenda hapo you never go back. Unachapanga design moja, boss. Ooh, shit. So again, to my last point, there's a lot of entitlement when it comes into marriage. Your wife becomes so entitled, you become entitled as fuck. All of a sudden you begin to think, kude mata anafaa kuku worship. You become entitled. You're like, mbona you become so fucking idiotic. because you're so entitled. And same to her, she becomes so entitled that unamletea kitu leo because you pitied somewhere and you found something that looks nice and you bought it for your wife, and you come back tomorrow without anything, and she's going to be like, umeletea nini, umeletea nini leo. Like, it's like that entitlement gets in, and these are things that no one tells you about. She's never satisfied. You take her out today, nampeleka to one of the nicest restaurants you can ever find, or you take her on a trip, you come back, and the next morning she's asking you, unanipeleka wapi next, unanibaya nini, umekabila kunibaya kitu. You literally bought shoes yesterday, lakini leo nakwambia mbona unibaiangi vitu. You're like, huh? Hata zile nimebai hujavaa. Entitlement. And this is something that no one tells you when you get in. You only get in and find out, shit, what did I get myself into? Gentlemen, that is marriage. That is marriage. And whether we like it or not, that is how marriage is. You probably will ignore this video because it happened for, we always say it will never happen to me. When they told me marriage is hard, asio kwangu, I have a helpmate. Where? Ate. Listen, whether we like it or not, change happens. Change is inevitable. It will happen. That woman you're looking at who is so uko, she will change. And the funny thing is, I'll end up with this quote. Women get into marriage hoping that you as a man will change. And you get into marriage hoping that your wife will never change. The reality is, the moment you get in, everything changes, and everything changes. You get into marriage, you see, I'm single, I love my toys. My toys is, I love my bike, I love my house, my toys, I love them. And I love watching soccer, I love hanging out with my boys, I love, and so when I meet someone, I want to marry them, they are hoping that I will change and stop all this childish behavior and become a man. Same thing for me when I meet her. She's looking pretty, her ass is right, her boobs are pale, nini, and she's all over, when I get in, I as a man hope that she doesn't change. What happens? We get in, all of a sudden, tumandazi tumekuwa tutamu, everything on the road ni tamu, and now she changes into something else. She becomes this humongous person, and it becomes something that you are not expecting, but now you have to live with it because it's a decision you made, and because the church has told you that you have to stick it in and fight for your marriage. And as a man, you get into your fighting mode and you begin to fight, and she gets into the opposite, and she's no longer fighting, she no longer desired, yani hapendezwi na wewe, she's no longer happy no matter what you do. And that, my friend, brings a lot of misery in our marriages. And that is why most of the people who are watching this and they are so miserable in their marriages. I've had people who call me and ask me if I'm ever planning to marry. I look at me, I'm happy, and they are so fucking miserable. The last time they even had intercourse with their wife was in 1969, and until today they just live together in the house on a pitananga kama gari, and you tell me that is a happy marriage. I never want to be in it. So gentlemen, as you go into marriage, as you're preparing yourself for this, or as you're now gotten into marriage and you're going through the moments, this, I hope, is helpful to you to begin to analyze, so that whatever happens, if it happens to you, you're not going to be shocked, and you're going to learn how to live with it and deal with whatever comes your way. All right? That has been today's edition of Man Cave. Let this conversation continue. Please continue with this conversation with your friends. Share this video in your man camp, in your men's group. Share this conversation with them. Let's have these conversations, because these are the conversations that will save us as men. These are conversations that will take us back to our place of dominion. Again, if you're married, don't leave your wife. Remember, I have said this before, men and women are better together. Me, I made a choice not to get into, but the truth of the matter is men and women, we are better together. So don't leave your wife because someone is hollering at you there. You'll be shocked because we always say the grass is green on the other side. But the truth is, it's only grass.